Yes, I want you to introduce this topic today.
All right, my friend and my friends. Today we are talking about manifestation and we are talking about the creative process of writing your own story. So Alisha and I separately sat down individually and wrote out the steps we use when we're working with manifestation, aka the creative process in our own lives. We reflected back on things that we have manifested and we kind of wrote out the steps we took and how it came to be. And then we came together, shared the steps, and fused them together in a way that made sense. And we found that basically all of them were very similar.
Yeah.
Maybe we had worded them differently. So we aligned on the word that we would use to share with you. But today we're going to go through the 5 steps in detail to support you in your manifestation and creation process.
And do you know what I'm most excited about this? I can't wait to hear some specific examples of things that you manifested.
Why are you saying it with an evil look in your eye?
I don't know. I just think that's compelling to me.
Okay, and you're also going to share?
I mean, I guess.
You're definitely going to. And
yes, I will.
Let's just pick and choose the
I'm just
things
looking,
that we share.
We have a list of...
We're not going to necessarily share all of those.
Okay.
We'll pick and choose.
Okay.
And you're not going to
Do I get to pick yours?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay, and I love what you just said, that manifesting is aka the creation process, because I think manifestation, while we think it's a beautiful word and an inspiring word, some people think it's a little woo-woo.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about it in the sense that it is a creative process and there is intention and steps behind it. It's not about just saying, I want to be a millionaire and then playing video games all day. And I guess,
to be honest, it is woo-woo. It's not an exact science, right? Like I think we shared in an earlier episode, we're still figuring out how this works, what levers to pull, what principles to follow. And it is, I like to think of it as creation in process. And I think manifestation gets a bad rap because it becomes a buzzword and people think, I just have to think about what I want and then it appears. And it's not that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And what I mean is there's steps you take, there's intention, there is energy you put into it versus just wishing for things. Like that to me is the woo-woo part, right? Like that doesn't make sense. And that's not what we're saying is a thing or how you achieve your goals or the life that you want.
Yeah. And there just are woo-woo elements to this process.
You're like, no, we are weaving.
You have to dive
woo-woo.
into it. You have to accept it. You can't just say it's black and white. It's just not, you know? Like,
okay, so lead me through. We have 5 steps we're going to talk about today. Let's talk number 1.
All right. So first off is intention. So it starts by asking the question, what do I intend? And so step 1 in manifestation is start by setting an intention and write it down or draw it or talk about it. And start by answering the question, why does this matter to me here and now? What is my desired outcome? And how do I want to bring this goal to life? What does it look like when it comes to life for me? It's important to be in complete possibility when you're doing this exercise and like really removing constraints like time, money, current circumstances out of the picture and just giving yourself a blank slate and say, okay, I want to manifest my dream job. What would that look like? And just free write about that or free think or talk and let yourself really go there. And then I always say to share it with somebody that you trust, somebody that you're close to, and somebody that you feel safe with. It's really scary to say what we desire out loud, especially if it doesn't seem possible right now. But always remember, like, you're not given a dream unless you are meant to fulfill it. You are not given the idea or the vision of something that is not meant for you. So just let yourself go there. Whatever it is, just say it out loud, say it to yourself out loud, say it to somebody else, and really answer the question, why do I want this? and really challenge your thinking. Is it because my best friend has this and I think I should have it? Is it because my mom and dad really drilled into me that this is important and this is what success looks like? You have to remove all of that and really say, is this what I want? And if it is, how do I want it?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah, I think that's super important. I just had a flash when you said sometimes it's really scary to share your dreams. I had a flashback to you and I starting this business. And one of the first things we did was we hired an accountant who then referred us to a tax accountant. I don't even know if honestly we were making money. Maybe like very, very early stages. But for us, that was really important to get that pieced out. But I remember specifically going to meet the tax accountant and sitting in this boardroom downtown. And we had our accountant called in on the video conference. And we were telling them we're going to be a multi-million-dollar business.
Yes.
And we were so far from that. I'm sure they were thinking, what are these two talking about?
Right.
But we were so certain and so clear in our vision of what we wanted to build. We had a couple of giggles about it, but I remember us being like,
yes,
this is happening.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Sharing that intention and that
let's
goal.
give some other examples because this is really good. Like sometimes it's really vulnerable to say what you want,
yes.
you know, like to say out loud, if you find yourself right now, you know, not in a relationship, to say out loud, I want to attract a life partner. Because sometimes when we are without something, we pretend that's what we want. Like we say, well, I don't want that anyway. Like my friends are all miserable in their marriages. To protect ourselves. But we have to get really honest with it, you know, and it's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's such a great point. Okay.
Number two,
I love this, meditation. So we feel like there's such a strong connection between manifestation and meditation. So meditation in this process, and again, it was really interesting that both of us had this step in our manifesting process, but really it was about getting still with ourselves. And I know for me, I really focused in on like, I know now it's technically called a transcendental meditation, but I focused on a word or a phrase that really resonated with me around whatever I was manifesting. And sometimes that was a feeling that I was looking to achieve. And I know you added this one in, which I really loved, but wouldn't it be nice if? So it's almost just like, again, kind of allowing yourself to embody this vision and really just sit with it. And I think for me too, it was also about coming to grips with my worthiness around desiring something, and that meditation, being quiet, sitting with yourself, thinking of a word or a phrase was a really key piece in that for me.
So good. I feel like let's share stories as they come up, because I'm thinking about, you know, you sitting with that word, but then I always use this phrase in my head, like, wouldn't it be nice if da-da-da? And it's gentle enough where it's not so like, I have to have this by this.
Yes.
It's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I flew first class on the way to Australia going home? Or wouldn't it be nice if da-da-da-da-da?
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, a couple of months ago, we were going through a really hard time in one of our businesses.
Yes.
And with 11/11, it was like we were having a really slow couple of months.
Yeah.
And I remember we were both like having an off day. We were super down. And I said, something in my head was just like, okay, we need to shift out of this and we need to like get through this moment. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice? We've been in business for 8 years, and wouldn't it be nice if right now we start planning our 10-year anniversary celebration, right? So we're thinking of doing a trip when we turn 10.
Yeah.
Which is in a couple of years. So I like pulled out a Pinterest board.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I started putting pictures in it. And in my head, I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we went to Rome for like a week, just you and I, to celebrate 10 years of business?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice? But in my actual reality, things are not going well. You know, like we're having a bad day. We're really struggling. Like we're, you know, chasing up invoices and like all of the thing. But I just pulled myself out of it. And I thought, and I just knew this gentle, like, of looking at the pictures, putting a vision together, suggesting places to you, getting you excited about it. I'm actually in a couple of years, I can just see we're going somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going to go, but it's little things like that.
It's an energy shift.
It's an energy shift. And wouldn't it be nice? Is an easy way to get out of a stuck moment, because it's not too hard and fast where you're like, you're bullshitting yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that was step number 2. Step number 3.
Okay. So step number 3 is participate. Show up.
Love this one.
You have to participate in your life. Like, you cannot just sit there wishing for things. You can't just sit there saying, like, literally, you can't just say, wouldn't it be nice if? Because the next step is to participate.
Yes.
So what would the next step be in that scenario is like actually learning the date that is our 10-year anniversary and maybe blocking off that week.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And maybe starting to research, what does it look like? How much is it going to cost us so we can start budgeting for it and all of that kind of stuff. But participate. The question that I always ask is, how will I put myself on the path of what I want to manifest?
Yeah.
Right? So even if dating is an easy example to use, or finding a relationship, is how do I put myself on the path? Is like, maybe when I want to stay in and watch Vanderpump, I go to that dinner party, right?
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was somebody there that was really cute?
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah, exactly.
Or should I, make a profile?
Yeah.
Or with jobs, maybe I should connect with somebody who works at my dream job while I'm still employed at this job, and just, get to know them, or start putting myself on the path of what I want. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I feel like we do this a lot in our businesses, where we show up on social, we create these podcasts, we create these because we're trying to put ourselves on the path of what we want, which is to achieve these multi-million-dollar brands, right?
Yes.
So how to do this? Write down 3 actionable steps that you can take towards the goal. So this is a good time to reflect on any limiting beliefs or fears that you might have. This is a good time to challenge them, right? We automatically all will have reasons why we shouldn't do things.
Yes.
And we'll have that mental battle going on in our minds. And it's our job to just pause, breathe, and challenge ourselves. Is this actually true? Is what I'm thinking a fact? Is this a narrative that I've made up? Do I have evidence to support this to be true? Can I choose to believe in this anyway? Right?
Yeah, I think that's such a pivotal step for myself in particular, the spending some time thinking about limiting beliefs, because I can get really practical right away.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And think about, and with that comes a lot of reasons why things won't work.
Yes.
Or why I can't do something, or I can't have something. Or like I mentioned before, it could be around worthiness. So it's really interesting to spend a little bit of time there. It feels like, it can feel a little bit like the opposite of manifesting, but I think it's a really important step so that you can move forward to even, there's something in writing it down or just seeing it on paper, what you're thinking takes away some of the power of it. So that for me was really pivotal in a lot of the examples when I reflect back on of what I was manifesting, how to get myself there in my mind, get my mindset in the right space.
It always comes down to mindset.
Yeah, it does.
And I think catch yourself when you're moving through your day, and catch things you say. Like if you're somebody who says, I'm no good with money, or, I'm not good at meeting new people. Catch yourself saying those things. Because if you're saying that, somebody somewhere inside of you, you actually believe that.
Yes.
So you actually have to challenge yourself and say, oh, I just said that. Pull it back and be like, is that true? Am I not good with money? Well, I do pay my bills on time, and I do have savings. And so maybe I can let that go. Maybe I don't want to reinforce that belief anymore.
Yes.
Even if there was a time where you weren't good with money, like what if today you're just somebody who's good with money?
Yes.
The perfect example is when I started going to the gym.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
it took me so long to start a gym practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just decided one day, I'm somebody that goes to the gym. This is who I am now. This is who I am now.
Yes.
I'm just somebody, one of those people that goes to the gym. And I kept saying that to myself until I was.
Yes.
And now I am.
Yeah. It's shocking.
Right? But I was never, ever that person.
I know.
And I would actually say out loud, I'm not a gym person.
Yeah. It also, as you're speaking about this, is bringing up this other phrase that you and I have been talking about a lot and coming up for us is why not me?
Yes.
Right? Around limiting beliefs or reasons why you can't do something or shouldn't do something or don't have the means to do something.
Yes.
Why can't you be a gym person? Right?
Exactly.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So a couple like key things you can ask yourself there. All right. That was number 3. So number 4. Oh, they're all so good. Can I say that?
Yeah.
About content we created. I haven't revisited this in a while. So number 4 is allow. Like what a powerful word.
Yes.
Allow. So I think this is really hard, actually. It sounds easy, but I think this might be the hardest part.
Yeah. Because
when you want something, you tend to just hold on to it, hold it really tight, place it on a pedestal. You know, depending on what it is and how important it is to you, I think there's a tendency to think if this doesn't happen, I'm not going to be happy or I won't achieve success or freedom or whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. And there's a really important step around surrendering to the process and surrendering to those beliefs and just allowing. So it's okay to want something. It's okay to put energy towards it. Of course, that's what we're saying to do. But it's almost like there's a line there, right? There's a line there that you need to also be okay if that doesn't happen. Because, and this is something that we've been talking a lot about today, that life is not linear. So you may imagine it happening in these really purposeful steps, but it could show up for you down the road. Right. And so being open to that, allowing for timing to be what it is, I think is so powerful and so hard.
So hard.
So hard.
Yes.
Like think about those things that we've both had in our lives that we've really wanted, whether it was a relationship or a baby. It's like, those are just things you feel in your soul. And then just having to surrender to the
really hard to do
fucking universe.
And
I don't know.
Surrendering is like an active thing. It's not a giving up, you know, it's like, it's a release. It's a letting go. And it's like this word, it's the phrase like, this or something better, or give me, this is what I'd like if it's in the highest good for all.
Yes.
You know, like, and it's really tough to do because we really grip and we really get focused on this is what I want and this is how I want it and this is what it's going to look like.
Yes.
And life is just not like that. So this is the esoteric aspect of this process, right? There are elements where, you know, like I talked about this recently to you, how Oprah shares this story about how she had a vision of like when she's successful, she's going to have 3 oak trees in her yard. And that was her goal and what she wanted to manifest. And she did this video recently where she walked around her yard and counted 3,000 oak trees. Like she was like, the universe had a bigger dream for me.
Yes.
So she kind of had this or something better, right? Even though she was just wanted the 3. So I think that is the surrendering process of this or something better.
Yes.
This or the highest good for all and the highest good for all.
There's another piece to it, I think, that allows you to surrender and let go a little bit is having gratitude and thinking about what you do have, what is going right, what is working for you will support you in that process of letting go. When you say letting go for the greater good, can you share what you mean by that?
Yeah. So true manifestation isn't like, I get what I want. True manifestation comes to you if it is aligned with you and who you are, and if it is the highest good for everybody that your life touches. Right?
Yeah.
And that is like the deeper meaning of manifestation.
Yes.
It's why it's like you don't close your eyes and go, I want a Tesla, and then tomorrow you have a Tesla.
Yeah.
You can if it's in the highest good for you and for the people that your life touches.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so I think the last thing I want to say about surrendering, because it's so hard, is like I once heard it described like this, like hold on to your dream, but hold on loosely, or hold on gently, just gently.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you'll feel if you're gripping on too tight, because you'll feel in discord with yourself. You won't feel alignment, and you can't receive.
Yes.
You can't allow things if you're holding on too tight.
Yes.
You know?
That's such a great visual. Really good. Which leads us into
visualization, baby. Okay, so visualization or actualization. Spend intentional time visualizing a successful outcome. Visualize, how does it feel? How does it smell? What steps do you take to get there? I love doing this. And for me, when I say visualization, I don't mean like you don't have to sit down in meditation. I'm visualizing like if I go for a walk, if I'm driving. Sometimes I think of my dreams, desires, and I like imagine them, and I like let myself be playful with it.
Yeah.
And really experience how it feels like, like play a little movie in your mind.
It's like daydreaming.
It's daydreaming. Yeah. Yes. And so allow yourself to do that. Like let yourself play a little bit with it, Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a really powerful tool. We've talked about the science behind visualization as well. There's a lot of research around the impacts, the effects, that it actually works.
Yes.
That you can hone a skill, make it
improve.
Get better, improve at things through visualizing yourself doing it over and over again. So it actually, there is proof around it. And I think when you're visualizing, it's really important, like you were saying, to really kind of go through the senses that you're feeling, right? Because that is really grounding you in your intention, why you want it. It's bringing it to life. So it's a little bit more, I guess, intentional than daydreaming, but similar vibe.
Yeah. One thing I've been visualizing lately is we have one of our businesses is called 1111 Retreat. So it's like the real estate arm of our business. And we are just starting out there. We literally have one property, but our vision is to have multiple properties, right? And so if I'm like on a walk in my neighborhood and I see like a new build going up, I always like imagine that's an 1111 Retreat property. And I imagine us like, and it's fully in construction phase. And I imagine us like doing a site visit and like I literally play it out in my head. I'll actually walk in front of it, stand and stop and imagine this scene in my head where you and I are like looking at the progress and we're making slight changes. And I imagine us like receiving the keys. And I imagine us like we talk about sometimes some of our properties we would make accessible to underprivileged, like refugees, single mothers or fathers, or, like that really excites me.
Yeah.
And so I actually imagine like handing the keys over to them. Like I do this whole thing
so beautiful
in my mind. And I just also can't wait to be at that day, like, cause I feel like it's going to be so
I'm
fun.
with you. I just went through that whole thing with you in my mind.
Oh, great, right?
So good. Okay, that was 5. My notes are a little messed up here, but that was 5.
They are messed up.
I don't know what happened there.
Okay, so what do we want to recap here?
Do we want to do any more storytelling? I have to leave in like 4 minutes.
No. Let's add here. I think we've got a couple of miscellaneous notes that we think are important to share.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And so just some unfiltered thoughts.
Yes.
It's not always a linear line. Timing matters. Divine timing matters. The highest good for all timing matters. So be patient and put your trust in things unfolding. And I say this with such ease. I find this the hardest part. I find a lot of it the hardest part.
Yeah. The whole thing.
Right? Because it is frustrating. We're impatient, right? Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah, sure. So the elements you want, the things you're manifesting, they may show up in a different way. So we touched on this, right? So being flexible, being open to how things unfold, and be open to the fact that it can be better than you imagined.
Love that.
Like, what's more exciting than that?
Yes. The next is our emotions, how we feel, carry a frequency that is really crucial to manifestation. That could be a whole other episode.
Yeah, it really could.
But the way you feel matters. Yes. And so it's not saying that you're not allowed to have an off day. You're allowed to be a human, but how you feel, that's why we say when you're visualizing, like, see it, feel it, taste it, smell it, put yourself right in it. It helps call it towards you.
Okay, this is a good one. It's easier to manifest when you are not desperate or grasping. So I think you gave that really nice visual around holding on to something too much. I think this also speaks to going back to your intention, why you want it. Is it coming from a desperate place? Is it coming from a place of serving others? So just have an awareness around that.
And the last one is, it's so easy to logically rationalize to yourself why it's not going to work or why it's not possible, like my friend here likes to do before she catches herself. But give yourself permission to be irrational.
Yes, I love
it's
that.
It's so much more fun than being rational.
So much more fun. I need to tattoo that on myself.
Be irrational. Okay, so let's quickly recap the 5 steps. So I will run it by really quick. Yes. So number 1 is intention. Ask yourself the question, what do I intend? Number 2 is meditate and really tap into, how does this feel in my body? Number 3 is participate. Put yourself on the path of what you want to manifest. Number 4 is allow, let it go, surrender. And number 5 is visualize.
That is a wrap.
That is a wrap.
Toodles!